For more on the coronation, I am joined by John Quelch. He is a professor at the Miami University's Herbert Business School. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you, Francis.
Well, as we mentioned, it's estimated this coronation will cost between $63 and $125 million. Not cheap change here. How does this compare to other royal events that they've held?
I think it's right, of course, the most expensive event that's been held. The question is whether or not to follow your lead. There is a return on this investment, and as you correctly pointed out, UK hospitality has indicated a significant 350 to 400 million pound surge in spending and travel and tourism related to the royal celebration. And it's important to note, for example, that American bookings into the UK are up 10% in May of this year, indicating in no small terms that the US has a lot of folks who are interested in being part of this celebration.
And on that note, it's been argued that revenue is generated from the worldwide TV rights to broadcast this type of event, not to mention the tourism that you mentioned already. For example, one report said the wedding of William and Kate that was broadly televised, that brought in more than $1.5 billion. That is amazing. So what do you think about these arguments that have been made about the revenue that has been generated from these types of events?
Well, look, I think if the British monarchy was a soccer team, it would be top of the Premier League. And with all of the income streams that are associated with a top soccer team in the world, that's probably a crude analogy, but I think it makes the point that among monarchies, the British monarchy is the one that stands out as doing the most spectacular, internationally exciting job when it comes to these kind of events. So what's important for King Charles is, though, that he makes sure that he leverages all of the good publicity that's going to come from the event tomorrow on behalf of a refreshed, revitalized, and a monarchy that is more focused on younger people, as one of the members of the public in the lead indicated. I think that overall the investment, if you want to look at it that way, is solid, and the return on investment is good. And beyond that, there's going to be a great lift to most people in Britain. Of course, there are a few grumpy Republicans who are not going to want to be a part of it. But for the most part, the British population and the population of the 56 Commonwealth countries around the world, they are all going to get very excited and pumped up at this opportunity.
Can you explain for our viewers out there outside of the UK, how does funding work for such a royal event? I mean, what's the financial burden for British taxpayers?
Right. First of all, as you indicated, Francis, the cost of the coronation is largely borne by the British government and therefore the British taxpayer. And it's important to note that the British government actually therefore controls the guest list at the ceremony in the cathedral tomorrow. So that's point number one. Point number two is that the British monarchy has a very large property portfolio that is now called the Crown Estates. 25% of the profits annually from the Crown Estate go to the monarch, and 75% of the profits go to the government and therefore the taxpayer. That's under an agreement that obviously the government and the monarch made during Queen Elizabeth's reign. In addition to that, there are private property holdings that the British monarchy has as well. And of course, Charles is the beneficiary of his mother's personal estate that has largely been gifted to him upon her death.
Professor John Quelch, a lot to unpack here. Thank you so much for your perspective today and for joining our program.
Well, thanks, Francis. Enjoy your strawberries and cream tomorrow.